My sister laughed when I got fired and said, "I knew you'd fail." 15 years later, I'm a self-made millionaire and she's begging for job. Take a quick pause, hit subscribe and tell me where you're watching this from. It's amazing seeing this community grow across the world. I'll never forget the smell of cheap coffee and cardboard boxes that filled my tiny cubicle the day Michael Ellis called me into his office. My hands were shaking as I walked down that fluorescent-lit hallway, past coworkers who suddenly couldn't meet my eyes. I knew. Somehow I already knew. "Kamara, we're letting you go," Michael said, not even looking up from his computer screen. 23 years old, 3 months behind on rent and now jobless. I'd worked at Patterson and Associates for 2 years, stayed late every night, skipped lunches to meet deadlines. None of it mattered. The severance check they handed me felt like a slap. 2 weeks' pay and a security escort to my desk. I called my sister Nichelle from the parking lot, tears streaming down my face, mascara ruining my only good blouse. "Nick, I got fired. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Can I stay with you for a few weeks until—" Her laugh cut through the phone like a blade. Not a nervous laugh. A deep, genuine laugh that made my stomach drop. "Girl, I knew you'd fail," she said between giggles. "You always thought you were so special with your business degree from that mediocre state school. Welcome to reality, Cam. Maybe now you'll stop acting like you're better than everybody." I stood there in the August heat, phone pressed to my ear, unable to breathe. This was my big sister. The person who'd braided my hair before my first day of kindergarten. Nichelle wasn't always cruel. Growing up in West Baltimore, we'd been inseparable. She was 3 years older and I worshipped her. She'd sneak me extra cookies after dinner, taught me how to do makeup, defended me when Tasha Morrison tried to bully me in 7th grade. Our mama worked double shifts at Johns Hopkins Hospital as a nursing assistant, so Nichelle practically raised me. But something shifted when I got into University of Maryland and she didn't. Nichelle had gotten pregnant senior year with her boyfriend DeAndre's baby. She'd had to drop out, work at CVS, watch her dreams dissolve. I remembered her crying in our shared bedroom the night I got my acceptance letter. "I'm happy for you, Cam," she'd whispered, but her eyes told a different story. College changed me. I studied finance, joined the business fraternity, interned at accounting firms. Meanwhile, Nichelle had 2 more kids with DeAndre before he left her for someone else. She moved into Section 8 housing, survived on food stamps and mama's help. Every time I came home for holidays, there was this new edge to her. Little comments about my fancy education and my high and mighty attitude. I'd brushed it off as stress. I thought she was still my sister, still had my back. That phone call proved I'd been living in a fantasy. "You serious right now?" I finally managed to say. "Dead serious," Nichelle replied. "Maybe this'll teach you some humility. You ain't special, Kamara. You're just lucky. And luck runs out." I couldn't afford my apartment anymore. I moved into a roach-infested studio in East Baltimore, the kind of place where you hear gunshots on Tuesday afternoons. My savings account had $300. My credit cards were maxed. I applied to 67 jobs in 3 weeks. I kept count in a spiral notebook that became my lifeline. Every rejection email felt like confirmation that Nichelle was right. Maybe I wasn't special. Maybe I had been fooling myself. The worst part wasn't the poverty or the fear. It was the isolation. Mama was sympathetic but exhausted from her own struggles. My college friends had moved to New York and DC, living their glossy LinkedIn lives. Nichelle? She'd posted on Facebook the week after I got fired. "Some people really think a piece of paper makes them better than folks who actually work hard. Pride comes before the fall." She didn't tag me, but everyone knew. The comments section filled with laughing emojis and "Preach, girl" responses. I stopped checking social media. Stopped answering calls. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. staring at water stains on my ceiling, wondering if she was right. One night I was eating ramen noodles for the 4th day straight when I saw an ad on Craigslist. A tech startup called Vision Link needed someone to handle their books for cheap. The pay was garbage, $15 an hour, no benefits. But the founder, a woman named Dolores Collins, saw something in me during our interview at a Panera Bread. "You're hungry," she said, studying my face. "Not for food. For a chance to prove something." "Yes, ma'am," I replied. "Then let's build something together." Dolores Collins became the mentor I didn't know I needed. She was 42, a Nigerian immigrant who'd built Vision Link from her basement, developing software that helped small businesses manage inventory. She was brilliant, demanding, and she didn't tolerate excuses. "You think this is hard?" she'd say when I complained about working 70-hour weeks. "I came here with $200 and a dream. You have education, you're American, you speak the language. You have advantages I fought for. So stop whining and show me what you can do." I learned more in 6 months with Dolores than 4 years in college. She taught me about cap tables, venture capital, product market fit, and customer acquisition costs. More importantly, she taught me about resilience. I watched her get rejected by 38 investors before finally securing seed funding. I saw her cry in the bathroom after a major client left, then pull herself together and pitch 3 new prospects that same afternoon. "Success isn't about never falling," she told me one late night as we ate Thai food in the office. "It's about who gets back up and what they learn from hitting the ground." I thought about Nichelle's laugh constantly during those months. It became fuel. Every time I wanted to quit, I'd hear her voice, "I knew you'd fail." And I'd work another hour, learn another skill, make another cold call. Vision Link started growing. Dolores promoted me to CFO when I was 25, gave me equity in the company. By then, I'd taught myself Python programming, earned my CPA license studying at night, and negotiated deals that saved us hundreds of thousands. When Vision Link got acquired by a tech giant for $87 million, I was 28 years old. My equity stake meant I walked away with $4.2 million after taxes. I'll never forget seeing that number in my bank account. I sat in my car in the Wells Fargo parking lot and just stared at my phone screen, shaking. The girl who'd eaten ramen in a roach apartment was a millionaire. But I wasn't satisfied. The acquisition had taught me something crucial. I could build something bigger, better. My own vision, my own company, my own rules. I spent the next year developing the concept for TechBridge Solutions, a platform that connected minority-owned businesses with corporate contracts and resources. I'd seen how hard it was for people who looked like me to break into industries dominated by old money and older connections. I wanted to change that. Raising capital was brutal. Investors looked at my age, my gender, my face, and made assumptions. "This market is too niche," one white venture capitalist told me, mansplaining the black business community to me. "You don't have enough experience," another said, despite my track record with Vision Link. I pitched 63 investors in 8 months. Got rejected 60 times. But 3 believed in me, and that was enough. TechBridge launched when I was 29. The first year was chaos. Software crashes, scaling issues, a major client threatening to sue. I slept 4 hours a night, lived on coffee and determination. I thought about Nichelle sometimes, wondered if she knew what I was doing. Mama would mention her occasionally. "Your sister's struggling, baby. DeAndre ain't paying child support and she lost her job at the grocery store." I'd send money through Mama, never directly. I wasn't ready for that conversation. By 33, TechBridge Solutions had 1,500 corporate clients and had facilitated over $600 million in contracts for minority-owned businesses. We'd been featured in Forbes, Black Enterprise, and TechCrunch. I'd been invited to speak at conferences, appeared on panels, and became what they called a thought leader in inclusive capitalism. I hired a team of brilliant people, developers, salespeople, operations specialists, many of them from backgrounds like mine, people who'd been underestimated, overlooked, counted out. We weren't just building a company, we were building a movement. My personal net worth crossed $20 million the year I turned 35. I bought Mama a house in a safe neighborhood with a garden she'd always wanted. She cried for an hour when I handed her the keys. "Hi, baby," she kept saying, holding my face in her weathered hands. "My baby did all this." "Nichelle could have been here too," I said quietly. "If she'd just..." "Don't," Mama interrupted. "Your sister made her choices. She's got to live with them." I'd seen Nichelle a few times over the years at family gatherings, Thanksgiving, Mama's birthday, a cousin's funeral. She was polite but distant, never acknowledging my success, never apologizing for that phone call. Her 3 kids were teenagers now, beautiful and bright, but struggling in understaffed public schools. I wanted to help them, but Nichelle's pride was an impenetrable wall. Then came the call that changed everything. It was a Tuesday morning and I was reviewing quarterly numbers when my assistant buzzed me. "There's a Nichelle Boone on line 2. Says she's your sister." My heart stopped. 11 years since that parking lot phone call. 11 years of silence between us. "This is Kamara," I said, my voice professional, distant. I heard breathing on the other end, then a sound I'd never heard from Nichelle, hesitation. My big sister, who'd always had an answer for everything, was struggling to speak. "Hey Cam. It's me." Her voice was smaller than I remembered, worn down by years I hadn't witnessed. "I know it's been a long time, and I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I need to talk to you about something important." My hand tightened around the phone. "I'm listening." "Not on the phone. Can we meet? Maybe get coffee or something?" "I'm actually in the city. I drove down from Baltimore this morning." Something was wrong. Nichelle never came to DC, never entered my world voluntarily. "There's a Starbucks near my office on K Street. 3 o'clock. "Thank you, Cam." "Really? Thank you." I hung up and sat there staring at my computer screen, not seeing the spreadsheets and presentations that usually consumed my attention. My executive assistant, Jennifer, knocked softly. "Everything okay, Ms. Boone?" "I don't know yet," I replied honestly. The afternoon crawled by like molasses. At 2:50 I walked the 3 blocks to Starbucks, my Louboutin heels clicking against the pavement. I'd chosen my outfit carefully that morning. A tailored Armani suit that cost more than Nichelle probably made in 2 months. Armor disguised as fashion. She was already there, sitting in a corner booth, looking so much older than 38. Gray streaked her braids, stress lines framed her mouth, and her Target clothes hung loose on a frame that had lost too much weight. When our eyes met, something cracked in my chest. This wasn't the sister who'd laughed at my failure. This was someone who'd been failed by life. "You look amazing," Nichelle said as I sat down, her eyes taking in my clothes, my confidence, the visible markers of success I'd worked so hard to achieve. "You look tired," I replied, not unkindly. She laughed, but it was nothing like that cruel laugh from 11 years ago. This was bitter, self-aware. "That's one way to put it. Cam, I'm just gonna be straight with you because I don't have the luxury of dancing around this. I need help. My son Mason, he's 17, brilliant, got accepted to Howard University with a partial scholarship. But we still need $18,000 for his first year and I don't have it. I've been working 2 jobs since I lost my position at the grocery store, but my car broke down last month. I'm behind on rent. And Mason is talking about enlisting in the army instead of going to college." She paused, swallowing hard. "I'm asking if you can help him. Not me, him. He deserves a chance I never got, a chance you did get." I know I don't have any right to ask you for anything after how I treated you, but this isn't about us. It's about my son's future. I sat there, coffee untouched, processing. This was the moment I'd fantasized about in my darker moments. Nichelle needing me, admitting she'd been wrong. But reality tasted nothing like I'd imagined. Why did you laugh? I asked quietly. What? That day. When I called you from the parking lot crying, scared, broke. Why did you laugh? Why did you kick me when I was already down? Nichelle's eyes filled with tears. Because I was drowning and you were the only person swimming. Because watching you succeed felt like proof that I'd failed. Because I was so damn bitter and angry and jealous that I couldn't be happy for my own sister. Every time Mama talked about you, it was like a knife. Nichelle continued, tears now streaming down her face without shame. Kamara got promoted. Kamara's company is doing so well. Kamara bought me this house. And I'm sitting there with 3 kids working at a grocery store, food stamps in my wallet, wondering where the hell my life went wrong. I took it out on you because you were an easy target. Because hurting you made me feel powerful for 5 seconds before the shame ate me alive. The coffee shop buzzed around us. Laptops clicking, espresso machines hissing, people living their normal Tuesdays. I felt like I was watching the scene from outside my body. You posted about me on Facebook, I said. Publicly mocked me when I was at my lowest point. Do you know how many job interviews I went to after that, wondering if they'd seen it? Wondering if they thought I was the stuck-up failure you made me out to be. I know. God, Cam, I know. I deleted it years ago, but I know the damage was done. I've been in therapy for 6 months now, free clinic downtown, trying to understand why I sabotaged the one person who always loved me. She wiped her face with a crumpled napkin. My therapist says I was projecting my self-hatred onto you. That watching you succeed forced me to confront my own choices. And instead of dealing with that pain, I tried to drag you down to where I was. It's textbook toxic behavior, and I own it. All of it. I looked at this woman who'd once been my hero, now broken and humble before me. Part of me wanted to write the check and leave. Another part wanted to rage, to list every wound she'd inflicted. But a wiser part, the part that Dolores had cultivated, recognized something else. Does Mason know you're here? I asked. No, Nichelle admitted. He doesn't know I'm asking you for money. He doesn't even know about what happened between us. I never told my kids how I treated you. I was too ashamed. I nodded slowly, an idea forming. Here's what's going to happen. I'll pay for Mason's entire education at Howard. All 4 years plus living expenses and books. But there are conditions. Hope and wariness warred on Nichelle's face. What conditions? First, I want to meet Mason. I want to know him, be part of his life. He's my nephew and I've missed 17 years because of the wall between us. Second, you're going to get a job. Her spine stiffened. Cam, I've been applying everywhere. Not somewhere. TechBridge. We have an opening in our community outreach department. It's entry-level, $35,000 a year plus benefits, with room to grow if you prove yourself. You'll coordinate with minority-owned businesses, help them access our platform, build relationships. It's hard work, and I won't give you special treatment because you're my sister. You'll earn every dollar. Nichelle stared at me like I'd spoken in tongues. You're offering me a job? After everything? I'm offering you a chance to prove you've changed. To show your kids what real humility and growth look like. To rebuild something between us that actually means something. I leaned forward, holding her gaze. But hear me clearly, Nichelle. If you take this job and bring that toxic, bitter energy into my company, if you treat anyone the way you treated me, you're done. I've built something bigger than us, and I won't let family drama destroy it. This is a one-time offer. Take it or leave it. He was crying again, but differently now. Why would you do this for me? I don't deserve. You're right. You don't deserve it. But Mason does. And somewhere under all that bitterness is the sister who used to braid my hair and fight my bullies. I want to see if she's still in there. Nichelle started at TechBridge 3 weeks later, and I won't lie, it was awkward as hell. My employees knew she was my sister, and the whispers followed her everywhere. That's the CEO's sister. Wonder if she got the job on merit. I'd prepared her for this, but watching her absorb those whispers with quiet dignity surprised me. She showed up early, stayed late, asked questions, took notes. She was actually trying. I met Mason 2 days after our Starbucks conversation, and he was everything Nichelle had said. Intelligent, curious, hungry for opportunities. He looked like our father, who died when I was 12, with the same wide smile and analytical eyes. "Auntie Cam," he'd said, shaking my hand formally. "Thank you for believing in me. I won't waste this chance." "I know you won't." "And Mason? I expect you to come work for TechBridge during your summers. Paid internships. Your family, which means you work twice as hard to prove yourself." His grin reminded me of young Nichelle before life had hardened her. Over the next 6 months, I watched my sister transform. It wasn't dramatic or Hollywood perfect. She struggled. She made mistakes. She had days where the old bitterness would leak through in a snide comment or an eye roll. But she was trying, and that counted for something. One afternoon, I overheard her talking to a small business owner on the phone, patiently explaining our platform's features. Her voice had this warmth I remembered from childhood, this genuine desire to help. After she hung up, I knocked on her cubicle. "That was good work." She looked up, surprised. "Thanks." Mrs. Rios was frustrated with the interface, but I walked her through it. She signed 3 new contracts this month because of our platform. "I know. I track all our metrics." I paused. "Nichelle, I need you to know something. I didn't hire you out of pity." "Then why?" Nichelle asked, setting down her pen, giving me her full attention. "Because I needed to know if you could change. And because I needed to forgive you, not for your sake but for mine. Carrying that anger was like drinking poison and expecting you to die." I sat on the edge of her desk, something I never did with employees, but she wasn't just an employee. "You destroyed me that day in the parking lot. You took the worst moment of my life and made it worse. For years, your laugh echoed in my head every time I doubted myself." "Cam, let me finish. You broke something between us that I didn't think could be fixed. But watching you these past months, seeing you actually put in the work, showing up for your kids, humbling yourself, it's healing something I didn't know was still bleeding. You're not the sister I lost. You're someone new. Someone I'm getting to know. And I think I like her." Nichelle's eyes glistened. "I like her too. She's been buried under a lot of garbage for a long time." We sat in comfortable silence until she spoke again. "There's something I need to tell you. Something I should have said at Starbucks but didn't have the courage." My stomach tightened. "What?" "DeAndre came back. 3 months ago. Said he's changed, found God, wants to be a father to his kids. And part of me, God help me, part of me wanted to believe him. Wanted to let him back in because being alone is so damn hard. But," I prompted. "But I saw what settling looks like. I saw what accepting less than I deserve creates. It creates the kind of bitterness that made me laugh at my sister's pain. So I told him no. Told him he could build relationships with his kids on their terms, with therapy and boundaries, but he and I were done. Permanently." I felt pride swell in my chest. That took strength. Mason graduated from Howard summa cum laude. I sat between Nichelle and Mama at his commencement, all of us crying as he walked across that stage. He'd landed a job at a top consulting firm, but he'd also asked me something that shocked us both. "Auntie Cam, what if I wanted to work at TechBridge instead? I know the salary's less, but I believe in what you're building. Plus, I've been developing some ideas for expanding your platform into the education sector. I'd hired him on the spot. Now, 3 years later, TechBridge Solutions employs 300 people across 6 cities. We've facilitated over $2 billion in contracts for minority-owned businesses. Forbes called me one of the most influential Black CEOs in tech. My net worth is $47 million. But the numbers aren't what matter most. What matters is Nichelle, now my Director of Community Relations, leading a team that's helped thousands of entrepreneurs access opportunities. What matters is Mason, innovating new features that make our platform more accessible. What matters is Thanksgiving dinner at Mama's house, where Nichelle and I cook together, laughing about burnt rolls and oversalted gravy. Last week, Nichelle came into my office with a serious expression. I need to tell you something and I need you to really hear me. Okay. I'm proud of you. I'm so damn proud of the woman you became despite me trying to tear you down. You're everything I wanted to be but was too scared to reach for. And I'm sorry. I'll never stop being sorry for that laugh, for those Facebook posts, for every moment I made you doubt yourself. I walked around my desk and pulled her into a hug. I forgive you. I forgave you a long time ago. Now it's time for you to forgive yourself. She sobbed into my shoulder and I held my big sister the way she used to hold me when we were young and the world felt impossibly large. 15 years ago I stood in a parking lot, jobless and broken, while my sister laughed at my failure. Today I run a company that changes lives and my sister stands beside me. Not behind me, not in front of me, but beside me, building something neither of us could have created alone. Success isn't just about the money or the title. It's about who you become in the pursuit of it, and who you help become themselves along the way. That's the real victory.